Another year, another Death Battle season premiere, and I had no idea what to expect because this has always been an area of the show that has been really hit or miss for me. Seasons 2 and 3 had bangers to kick them off, but almost all of the ones after that were either a contender for the most boring thing ever, or were really good but didn't stand out much and got lost in the shuffle as the rest of the season came out. Though season 8 did bring things back last year with a match with the strongest legacy with a show out of the entire season's lineup and a pretty phenomenal execution of it. It was going to be a tough act to follow regardless of what they revealed. I was placing my bets on either Jinx or Omni-Man kicking the year off, and wow, who could have seen this unexpected reveal coming. I wasn't exactly going to count out Jinx vs Harley off the reveal alone just because I don't give a shit about the match itself, because even the better premieres are ones that I can't say I have any personal stakes in outside of Yoda vs King Mickey. And I knew this episode had potential to be pretty great with a blender team at the helm. So if they could have character interactions on Yoda vs Mickey's level, the same kind of over-the-top action Dante vs Bayonetta had, or even just He-Man vs Lion-O's general fun, then I would be perfectly happy even if it didn't turn out as one of my favourites. So, how was the episode? Well, starting off before even Harley's analysis, the intro has Wiz saying we live in a society. Truly an opener for the ages. As for the analyses themselves, they're good, but not ones I have too terribly much to comment on. I enjoyed Harley's well enough despite her being like the 50th fucking DC character, or however many there have been. They went over her character and history in an interesting enough way, the jokes weren't making me laugh much or anything, but I was still enjoying myself. And also they one-up Beast vs Goliath by accident by showing that Harley did in fact lift the whole 600-pound tree off the ground. Oh yeah, and the editing's fucking stellar. What more would you expect from a comic episode nowadays? Jinx's analysis is also really fun. This was the first time they've used League of Legends, and it set a good standard for future League episodes if the series ever comes back. I like how they go over stuff from the game, and after that they go into stuff specific to Arcane, including Jinx's backstory, which is a neat way of shaking up the structure that I actually like. It still manages to all flow well, unlike dumping a bunch of calcs at the start. They managed to get me interested in checking out Arcane more so than I already was, though I still won't be checking out the game itself anytime soon if that cutaway is anything to go by. Alright, the cutaway gags. This episode sure does have them. I liked them even if they weren't some of my absolute favourites. The Harley one was alright, and I liked Ringmaster going on a tangent about League of Legends and continuing to go over stuff like optimal builds for Jinx. And they also give more history between him and Boomstick, with the two playing the game back in college. Apparently some people don't like Ringmaster, but I think he's fun when paired with the right co-hosts. And having him cameo isn't a bad thing. I liked when he showed up in Heihachi vs Geese, and Randy vs Kool-Aid Man underused him if anything. I only really dislike his mention in Yoda vs King Mickey because it spawns this massive fucking tangent that has nothing to do with the episode and kills the pacing. Out of these 4 episodes, Harley vs Jinx probably has the best incorporation of him, honestly. One last thing before I get into the fight is the lack of end clips for the character rundowns. It sucks to see them go, and it feels really weird without them. But copyright's a bitch, so I understand why they had to. At least to somewhat make up for that, we have much less jarring transitions into the sponsored segments now. Alright, so the fight. It's pretty good, innit? I wouldn't hesitate to call this the best looking premiere. I don't dislike the look of any of the other premieres, I think they all look fine for the most part when taking into account when they were released, and also whenever Lara vs Nathan isn't literally unfinished. But Harley vs Jinx blows them all out of the water with how the carnival set piece is rendered. It looks fantastic. Other premieres do have specific scenes that could have shot them ahead, think the effects at the end of Yoda vs Mickey or the Spider-Verse inspired shots of Miles vs Static, but we'll get to what shoots Harley vs Jinx higher soon enough. The start of the fight is simple but effective. Jinx is shooting some rockets and nearly hits Harley, taking out her teddy bear instead. Harley isn't having any of it, they don't need much more than that. From Harley's first bit of running away from Jinx's rockets, it immediately shows how much the Blender team has improved in regards to acrobatics and agile movements. There are a few shots here and there where things do feel a bit floaty or weightless, but for the most part this is a huge step up from stuff like Batgwen or Akuma Khan. The movements are all fluid and they lack the old SFM jank, so their biggest flaw isn't something that really holds them back that much with these kinds of matches anymore. Though whether that holds up next time they do a more martial arts focused episode, we'll have to wait and see. Harley gets to use her quick wit to knock Jinx into her so she can take away a ranged advantage and land a hit with her hammer, and Jinx gets to use her gamerpad to get behind her and do that joke that ended the preview. This is one of the fight's greatest strengths, I feel. For the most part, it isn't taking itself too seriously, and it's not afraid to let itself have fun with these two being crazy goofballs. It also goes to show how expressive Harley's character model is. I don't know what it's from or if it's custom, but I really like how it looks. It meshes together some more iconic bits of different Harley designs, and even though there is a tiny bit of stylistic clash with Jinx being seemingly pulled straight from League, it never distracted me at any point. I like the joke right after the preview ends with Jinx happily firing a rocket in a way that catches the dynamite fuse but intentionally doesn't hit Harley. Then Harley ties Jinx up with confetti, puts the dynamite in her mouth and knocks her onto the carousel. This is one of my favourite bits of the fight. I love how it plays into usage of the environment, it makes for some creative choreography with Jinx having to evade Harley while they run around the carousel, and also it keeps up the fight's fun tone as we get this amazing wide shot showing the two running in place from afar. Already that's like 3 really funny and memorable jokes, and we're only like halfway through the animation. Then we get the payoff to the dynamite bit with Jinx escaping the confetti, putting Harley on the back foot at a distance, and then putting the apparently several tons of TNT in the hand of Harley's boxing glove gun, forcing her to take it back and have it blow up in her face. I love the bit of the track that accompanies this scene with a big yell too. Or I guess just in general, I really like how the track sounds. It's not out on its own yet, so I can't say how well it stands separate from the fight, but Mad Laugh Riot complements the animation so well. Anyway, so we get a shot of Jinx flying around standing on her gun, which definitely felt like something they needed to do, given how even as someone who hasn't played League, I associate Jinx with hopping around on rockets. And following that, we get a fun scene on the roller coaster with more funny banter as they fight over Jinx's Nintendo Switch. Actually, there's a Blake vs. Meek as a cameo, never mind, I hate this part now. They do an ET reference and then stop halfway through like a Looney Tunes gag, and it's great. I love how even as they fall, they're still laughing and having the time of their lives. Then I saw they fell into a mirror maze and I knew things were about to get super weird and trippy. And they for sure delivered. Harley uses the Joker Venom but fails to take into account that Jinx has 2 sets of lungs, thus 4 times the breathing, so all it does is make her go even more unhinged like that Shimmer stuff did. We get some cool 2D effects overlaid on top of everything, which from what I can tell is an aesthetic pulled straight from a scene from Arcane, and maybe the 2016 Suicide Squad movie as well, but I don't remember if that had these kinds of effects and I actively refuse to go back and check. Anyway, so this is what I meant when I said this episode has its own stellar effects to match Yoda vs. Mickey and Miles vs. Static. The scratchy 2D effects look fantastic and sell Jinx's insanity. The mirror maze set piece is great with all the different Harleys running circles around Jinx. A green smoke cloud looks really good and adds to the atmosphere. Jinx hallucinates her sister in the mirror as Harley psychoanalyzes her. This scene is amazing from both a visual and character standpoint. Harley goes in for the kill with a great dialogue exchange, but Jinx is able to catch the hammer and riddle Harley with bullets. Harley preps a hand buzzer and I thought we were about to get another Joker vs. Sweet Tooth, but this one instead throws shade on that episode by having Harley try the exact same strategy Joker did on Needles, but Jinx just doesn't give a shit, and shoots Harley into the sky with a rocket which explodes and kills her. That's such a great conclusion to an already great fight. And then just to cover everything, the conclusion seems fine, I like Boomstick's reaction to the end of the fight, and the next time is putting me to sleep, but at least I can maybe get 2 episodes in a row that mention magic crystals. So overall, that was a banger of a premiere. After Dante vs. Bayonetta, the premieres from that point on were pretty mixed in terms of quality, but between this, Yoda vs. Mickey and Miles vs. Static, I think Death Battle have finally gotten their groove back with making great premieres. Do I like this episode as much as some other top tier premieres? Not right now anyway. I think it surpasses them in a few ways. Like I said before, this is easily the best premiere from a visual standpoint, with the most effective use of its set piece and the most expressive character models. But in general, I find Yoda vs. Mickey, He-Man vs. Lion-O and Dante vs. Bayonetta more fun watches. Even if they all have their problems, though for the latter 2 that mainly comes down to their age. I don't really have many issues holding this episode down. I mentioned there were some shots that felt a little too floaty, but there's not much beyond that. I guess Harley materializes her hammer off screen after throwing it away somehow, and she does have a few wonky line deliveries, but it's only a few, and Felicia Valenti otherwise does a really good job at selling the spirit of the character. And while I'm on the topic of voice acting, Elsie Lovelock also hits it out of the park with Jinx. Yeah, I don't know, I don't have much to complain about here. It's not hitting high points on par with my favourite episodes or anything, but it's a fun and wacky battle with a lot of great jokes that I had a really good time with. For now, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. The fight scene's a lot of fun, and the analysis is also good, though my lack of investment in the characters and matchup meant I probably couldn't get into it as much as others could. Maybe when I've seen Arcane or any piece of Harley media where she isn't irritating, I'll like this episode even more to the point where I can bump it up to a 9, though honestly this episode gets better the more and more I think about it, to the point where I'll probably end up giving it a 9 within a few weeks anyway. Hopefully you enjoyed this first review of the season. I'm looking forward to what's in store for the rest of the year. As for the rest of this video, all that's left is the reaction highlight reel, which I wasn't in because I had work when everyone else watched it. I had to check it out the morning after, and if you want to see my live reaction, then you can watch that on Nem's channel, alongside the review that he's going to be doing. I don't know when both videos are coming out, but I'll link them in the description and a card at the end whenever they drop. So that's all for now. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. See you in 2 weeks where I hopefully get to pop off over magic crystals being mentioned again.
Let's go. Season 2 or season 9, not season 2. Season 2 of Biffweed.
Season 2.
No, it's season 2 of Biffweed.
Yeah, season 2 of Biffweed.
Yeah. We're starting off with 2 very Biffweed characters.
Yeah.
Biffweed's not even here.
Fortnite! Where's the Fortnite?
Oh my god.
Good.
What? Oh.
We live in a society. Good start with We Live in a Society in Fortnite.
Did you guys see that fucking ugly ass Joker on Twitter? With the fucking
yeah, from deleted scene. Oh my god.
Loves Deadpool.
Oh, please tell me he's in this episode.
Don't say that.
No.
Deadpool making a cheeky cameo. I would.
Oh, please, yes, please.
Not even a Marvel character.
They're building up. Batman vs. Deadpool.
Come on, Brandon. You can't have a death battle season without Deadpool, right?
Was he in the last one?
Yeah, he was cool.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he was. Yeah.
Banana cream pie is fucking gross, by the way.
Hey,
I don't
regular
really
show.
like any pies, to be honest.
Apple pie's pretty good.
Sweet potato pie is great. What?
What?
Where the fuck did this bitch come from? Who are you?
It's Wingmaster.
Hi, Marshall.
It's
You
the
don't know
Wingmaster.
Oh, it's Marshall.
That's badass.
Oh yeah, he's the DBX guy. I forgot.
Oh, you genuinely forgot who he was?
Yeah, I thought I was joking.
Harley Quinn? Hell yes.
It's her win condition.
Free WinCon.
Sorry versus community.
I hate it here already.
Ooh.
Ooh, regeneration. Jinx is done.
Yep, there we go.
Oh
Harley Quinn.
boy.
No,
Dub.
is Harley Quinn.
Let's go.
This better end like how Joker versus Sweet Tooth ended.
Yeah. Right? Right.
Good for her.
Okay, I didn't.
Ooh, she tore a palm tree out of the ground. Holy shit.
But as you can see, she actually didn't lift the full tree off the ground.
You guys do remember? You guys do remember that? Like you talked about some multi-city block feat a second ago, right?
Guys, she defeated Punchline. Okay, no one quotes.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
Oh yeah, right. No one quotes. I forgot.
I understand. That makes sense. They will be missed.
They will be missed.
Oh, why are they gone? I haven't heard.
Popeye Saitama, they had to take him out. I think they just decided it was too much trouble to risk like a copyright using footage every
Fair
episode.
enough, yeah.
Compared to Harley, there's like 6 here and then fucking 20 on Harley's.
I mean, like even with the
Oh,
footage, with the footage, they basically have already exhausted like 50% of Get Jinxed. This is the first. I think this is the first clip of actual League of Legends we've seen.
Cover your eyes, League of Legends.
Arcane! Peak!
Magic.
Holy shit! They mentioned Magic Crystal.
Magic Crystal.
Magic
You guys are
Crystal.
so cringe.
Boomstick
Oh,
hates League of
we're
Legends.
playing
Space.
League of
Space.
Legends.
Boomstick's awesome.
Is Ringmaster gonna be a recurring thing this season? That's okay.
Probably. I wouldn't mind.
That'd be fine. with that.
Dummy just has no purpose now.
Yeah.
No one cares.
Gamers!
Gamers! Ooh, they gamers!
Oh, he's just in the analysis. Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
They just got a third host, I guess.
Oh, Boomstick.
Boomstick doesn't like league-based.
Yeah, the base.
There's clearly some bias here.
Oh, here we go.
There we go.
Yeah, here's the arcane stuff.
Who dat? Oh, it's Duckle.
Dragons.
Max.
Hey,
Hello, are they fucking?
Thanks. This does look very nice, though.
It looked.
This is a very fucking pretty animation.
It is.
This is where.
Yeah.
I actually didn't
like
see the
I love
preview.
that.
What the fuck? Oh.
She's holding it.
Oh. Let it out of your mouth!
No, she's gonna keep her in her mouth just to tank it. Just to flex.
She's not taking it out of her mouth.
You're not taking that shit out of her mouth, bro.
I really like the carnival setting.
Yeah.
I
She's just not gonna take it out of her
Oh,
mouth.
it's like Jinx when you're shooting on a carousel.
No, this is going.
was
the
Yeah,
point?
I had a
Oh,
feeling.
that's
Jesus
No,
Christ,
no,
one
no.
stick of
your
dynamite?
fault for having a fuse that
This
was
is
that
dark.
long.
Yeah, that was the world's longest.
Got games on
Yeah,
your phone?
Fortnite? Oh, Fortnite.
Running games on your phone?
I love this.
It's great.
Oh!
They just make a fucking Looney Tunes character there.
There's a lot of personality in this animation. I like it.
Time for cool moment.
Oh.
The Joker winner?
Yo!
Oh, shit! Oh, I like that.
What?
I like that.
Oh!
Dang.
Oh fuck!
This is sick.
Wow.
Whoa.
This is actually really awesome.
What?
Oh shit.
Ooh.
Oh!
Ooh.
Golly!
Nice.
Jesus Christ.
Holy shit.
Oh, that's what they're going.
Oh!
For. Okay.
Ah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Oh. Joker versus Sweet Tooth shade. Holy shit.
That's
Oh my god.
Hey, the DC streak is over.
That's funny.
Wow. That was great.
I might be
really
wrong.
good.
I might be just completely forgetting it. Oh,
Hey.
I might be completely forgetting an
They're doing
episode.
that.
But I think this is the best Batman episode.
It's a really
Batman-related character.
I love that they have.
Yeah,
that they have
I can
this
agree with
now.
that.
I love that
Yeah,
they have
that-
that.
Yeah.
They,
I love the
always,
scene in the mirror.
Now,
the
Brandon,
mirrors.
best Batman episode. Wait until
Yeah,
Batman is dead.
Vi in the Mirrors was that whole scene with like the effects like Arcane was really good.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part. Cause that was my favorite thing that they did in the show. The way that they showed her craziness.
God, this feels so weird. I was really expecting Harley to take this.
I was not. The whole shaking a mountain without calking it pretty much told
Yeah,
me
but
she was
I
winning.
thought Harley had like something up with her. Like, oh, maybe she was just faster or something.
That was really
I don't
good.
know. I don't know.
That was
stats.
that was really good.
Yeah.
I really like that kill.
Good for me.
I
like the shade of Joker versus
Yeah.
Sweet
Scarlet
Yeah, I
Witch
love
versus
that.
I'm glad they
Alright.
actually ended
Scarlet
it
Witch
like
versus
that.
Santana.
Scarlet
Let's
Witch versus
go.
Zatanna next,
Let's
probably.
go. Scarlet Witch to Santana. Let's fucking go, guys.
Santana.
If that is true.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Called it.
Okay.
At least I get to
Yep.
see Santana.
Trailers are cool though.